Alright guys, and welcome to my Nintendo Switch Lite review and comparison. We have the Nintendo Switch Lite right here for you guys. I got the turquoise boys in the house, and then I also have the newer model Nintendo Switch as well, so we can get a nice little comparison. I wanted to take some time to play the Nintendo Switch Lite, get a feel for the D-pad, kind of what they are doing with the system, how it feels in your hands when you play certain games, and I wanted to get all of my thoughts after playing for a number of hours with different games, and then compare that to what I've been doing with the regular Nintendo Switch. So let's get some of the basic information out of the way first. If you don't know, the Nintendo Switch Lite is definitely the budget version of the Nintendo Switch. As you guys can see, the boxes are drastically different in size. Yes, behind this Nintendo Switch Lite right here is the actual box for the system that it's propped up against. So the thing about it is that when you buy the regular Nintendo Switch, you're getting a lot more when it comes to features and accessibility. So for example, the regular Nintendo Switch comes with a dock to where you can put the Nintendo Switch system into that and then play that on your TV. The Nintendo Switch Lite cannot plug into a TV or into a dock at all normally or natively. So there's also that. You have stuff like the Joy-Cons that were a big part of the Nintendo Switch, attaching and detaching them. Well, yeah, that's been removed on the Nintendo Switch Lite. Stuff like HD Rumble has also been removed as well. So you don't have a lot of features that you had on the regular Nintendo Switch for the Nintendo Switch Lite. However, for those who are looking for a cheaper alternative or a second Switch to play predominantly in handheld mode, the Nintendo Switch Lite is absolutely amazing for that. Now, what I did is that I played games that would require the use of the D-pad, or 2D games more like it, not require, but it'd be nice to have a good D-pad because that's been one of the big issues with the regular Nintendo Switch. If you're playing in handheld mode, you have those buttons because it's like the detachable controllers. You hand it to somebody else, it's like buttons that you can play. So people don't really like that as much. Now, I'm somebody, even with 2D games in today's day, I still use an analog stick. I know, I'm horrible, but it's just how it is. I just still use an analog stick still. I use an analog stick for even 2D games, and that pretty much did not change. I play games like SteamWorld Dig 2, I played Shovel Knight, I played a number of games that are built for that D-pad with the Nintendo Switch Lite, and I still prefer to use the analog stick for myself. Now, the D-pad itself is good. I don't think you're going to have any input errors or problems with regular 2D games, but to me, it's just the positioning of it. The fact that the D-pad is kind of below on there, it just contorts my thumb just a little bit because I do have big hands. So it just doesn't work for me, but I can see the D-pad being very good for a lot of other people out there. Now, another thing that I noticed with the Nintendo Switch Lite is how light it is. I know it's called the Nintendo Switch Lite, but really the system is lighter. It doesn't seem like too much when you first see the official comparison and all that, but when you actually hold the system in your hands, yeah, it's actually a lot lighter than what you would expect. And the form factor, it just kind of fits to your hands, and it makes a pleasing type of, I would say, experience when you play the game. Like, I was lying down in bed and playing Fire Emblem Three Houses, playing SteamWorld Dig 2, heck, there's even Goose Game, you know. It was pretty cool to kind of go through and kind of get that different experience of a system that was literally built just for playing portable. It feels like that old school Game Boy Pocket or Game Boy SP or whatever you did back in the day when you were younger, when you were a kid, you know. It feels like that experience with the Nintendo Switch Lite just because of how light the system is weight-wise. Then on top of that, you don't have all the different moving pieces, the Joy-Cons, the detaching back and forth and all of that. It's all just a modular system like a PlayStation Vita, for example. And I think it's a bit heavier than that, screen's bigger, but it reminds me of that. It really does. And I think it's a nice system for the price that they're going for. Now, recently there was an article on Nintendo talking about how they wanted to aggressively cut the price of the Switch, and I think that they successfully did so with the Nintendo Switch Lite, because while you are missing a lot of features from the regular Nintendo Switch, like I said, with the detachable controllers and a lot of the other stuff, what you get here is that you get a top tier library of games that you can play anywhere that you want for $100 off. So if you are on a budget, let's talk about who this system is for. if you are on a budget, the Nintendo Switch Lite is definitely a good option, because that $100 that you save from not getting the regular Nintendo Switch, if you're not worried about playing on the TV, that can go towards stuff like Fire Emblem Three Houses, that can go towards Astral Chain, that can go towards all these new and cool games that are all playable on the Nintendo Switch Lite. Now, of course, there are some games that are not playable on the system, which I'll have a link for you guys in the description below to where you can check that. But pretty much like 99% of the library will be playable on the Nintendo Switch Lite. So for those who are on a budget, this is definitely a good option. Now, there is a second tier of consumer out there, and that is people who have kids, right? So if you're an adult and you have kids and you want to get them a Nintendo Switch, but you don't really want to pay the $300 plus or more wherever you live in the world, the Nintendo Switch Lite is another good option. If you're a child, you don't need a TV. Let's just say that right now. And I know when I was a kid, I played games on a TV, but that's because there was just not a lot of portable games for me to play. I didn't have the money to get certain portable games. But when I did, like Pokemon, for example, I played that all day. Now, I played it on the Super Game Boy as well, but children necessarily don't always need to have like a big TV in front of them. They like to play lying down in bed. They like to just play on their system, especially if they share a room and share a TV with another sibling. This is really good for them. I mean, instead of spending money on like 2 Switches, or if there's issues with them sharing the Switch, you can just get them 2 Switches right here for $400, so $100 more than what you'd pay for one regular Nintendo Switch, and that solves the option right there. I think that for the holiday season, this is going to be very, very, I think like cool for parents out there that are looking for the budget option for their kids, especially if they have multiple kids. I know I want to get my daughter a Nintendo Switch Lite as well, because I think it fits what she's trying to do. And another thing about this with the Nintendo Switch Lite as well is that because of the form factor and how small it is, definitely a little bit better. The Nintendo Switch is portable, right? This is already a portable system. You can take it, where you need to go, and it's not too much of a problem. But having it only just this much smaller still makes a big difference. This fits in your pocket a lot better too. So if you want to get like a screen protector, put that right in your pocket. It fits a lot better. You don't have to worry about the Joy-Cons and the buttons and the detaching and all of that. So overall, even though this is a great portable system, at least some people think so, I think it's still really good for portability. This is just so much better for portability just because of the size, and really that extra few inches or centimeters on each angle or length really does make a difference when it comes down to these two. I'd also say for who this is for, I would say that this is for somebody, like I said, if you're looking to play games like portably, like let's say you have a docked Switch, you just want to keep it docked, you don't want to move it in and out. Like for example, myself, I have a Nintendo Switch that's a work Switch here that just stays docked the whole time. Then I have a Nintendo Switch that I just play in the living room, and then I have a Nintendo Switch that I just take around portably. Well, this is going to be the new one that I just take around portably. So if you're looking, if you're in my situation to where like you don't want to remove and put back in, you just want to have one that you can easily take. With the Nintendo Switch Online, you have like the transfer saves and all that. You can transfer your save, or the cloud saves, I should say, more like it. If you want to just be able to have that, that's a great option. That's where like the Nintendo Switch Lite can come into play for consumers like that. But overall, I would say that I was pretty impressed with the Nintendo Switch Lite when it comes to the buttons. Everything is pretty much the same, right? Like how the buttons feel, how everything is obviously outside of the D-pad, because the D-pad's completely different. But like where everything is, the plus and minus, all of the X, Y, A, B, the analog sticks. I mean, people have talked about Joy-Con drift if there's an issue there, but I haven't played enough, or it just hasn't been long enough for me to see if there's going to be a Joy-Con drift or not. But I didn't experience any with my playtime with Fire Emblem Three Houses, or with Goose Game, or with SteamWorld Dig 2, or Shovel Knight, or any of the other games that I tried out. I didn't have any Joy-Con drift, but once again, this is a brand new system. I still don't have any Joy-Con drift with this system as well, but this is my living room Switch where I go out there, I just want to relax and play games. So I do use the Pro controller a lot more, but I have made it a habit in trying to use the dog style controller with the Joy-Cons just to see if my Joy-Cons would drift. Haven't had that issue here, and obviously since this is brand new, haven't had that issue just yet. If there is Joy-Con drifting, it might happen, you know, it might happen, but I haven't experienced it yet with the Nintendo Switch Lite. So overall, if I was to give the Nintendo Switch Lite a score out of 10, I would go ahead and give it a solid 9 out of 10. The stripped down features are the only downside. I would have liked to see HD Rumble. I know everybody's not as high on HD Rumble as I am, but I still feel that they could have got that in. But it would have been more expensive. Obviously, the HD Rumble tech is expensive. If you see it like in the Nintendo Switch Pro controllers, it makes those more expensive, so I understand that. But some of the strip features are just a little bit of a bummer. Like I said, not a deal breaker at all if you're looking for a budget system, but like I said, still just a little bit of one of those things where it would have been nice if they would have got some type of rumble in, even if it wasn't HD Rumble, just some type of rumble, because I do like having rumble in my games, or at least the option to have it, and this doesn't have it at all, so that's unfortunate. But it still has like amiibo, it still has some of the other stuff, so that's cool. It can still take screenshots, but it is missing a number of features from here, so we'll go ahead and give it a 9 out of 10. Still a very good system for the price of $200. Definitely going to be good for families on a budget, or if you're just looking for a portable Switch. If you already have one, you want to keep one of yours docked, now you can use this one right here. Also, the battery life, somehow they couldn't get the battery life to be more than this one. That's also a little bit of a bummer too, I guess, for some. It would have been nice if somehow they can get the same battery life in this one as well. But hey, it's still better. This Switch is still better than the original battery life of the original Switch when that launched, and I will have a guide for you guys as well, so you can check out the battery life. But it seemed pretty good though. It's better than my other Switch that I had. So the other Switch, my first original launch model Switch, that one's gonna be retired for good, or I might just take that one to my mom's house and just keep it there, and my mom can play it or something like that. I'm not really sure. She probably wouldn't play it at all. Maybe I'll just keep that Switch there whenever I'm there. I don't have to take anything at all. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch Lite. That's my review. What do you guys think about the system for those who've picked it up? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for this RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.